The Oklahoma Sooners are continuing to make a noise in the 2026 recruiting cycle as they are going all the way up to Penn State to try to flip a 4-star wide receiver target. And this 4-star wide receiver target, I'm going to share the film with you guys, but let me tell you, an absolute freak of an athlete, super quick, track speed, versatile, and his Twitter name is Spider-Man. Definitely might be a legitimate Spider-Man. So make sure you stay tuned for that so I can show you that film so that you can get as excited as me. We'll talk about Oklahoma's odds there a little bit because I've got a chance to connect with him and another target Oklahoma maybe could get in with. So before we dive into it, as always, I want to hear from y'all. Join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, this is where I ask you to hit that like, hit the subscribe button so you're not missing out on any OU football or recruiting content. We're covering it all for you, putting out videos daily. It's completely free. All you got to do is just make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, well, hey, listen, jump in the comments. We'll talk to you. We'll interact with you. Whatever you want to talk about. We got a bunch of trolls in there too. But for everybody that wants to talk about 3-star U, Oklahoma wants to try to be 4-star U and go flip a big-time wide receiver target that's currently committed to Penn State. Now, he did recently get offers from Kansas State, from North Carolina. So you would imagine, just like normal, as Oklahoma gets more invested, now that his offer is public, because we did kind of know that this offer was coming down the pipeline a little early. Now that his offer is public, you're going to see probably more schools sniff around and, try to see what their odds are of flipping the 4-star wide receiver Penn State prospect. And then this isn't like out of the normal. This is something common that when Oklahoma tries to go after somebody, other schools will definitely try to get involved here. So as you see from here in the film, you see his track speed, being able to just blow past the DB. But credit to Stevie G and Topher and Duck and some of those other people that watch here all the time that, they were talking about the Discord and they were like, hey, this dude is like a legitimate freak. Like this dude is Spider-Man. And so the Spider-Man memes were fun last night as those are being thrown around. But he is a 6-foot, 170-pound wide receiver. So definitely not like the sizable 6'4" wide receiver that I think a lot of Oklahoma fans want Emmett Jones and Ben Arbuckle to go out there and grab. But definitely a guy that I think meets a need for Oklahoma. Like you're going to have to replace Satania. You're going to have to replace Burks at some point, whether it's at the end of this year. And so this could be a guy that I think 100% could play for you next year. Probably not as a full-time starter, but definitely get you some rotational minutes. So 6 foot, 175 pounds, benches 235, squats 365, deadlifts 315, cleans 185. And I had somebody, I don't know if this is verified, but they told me a sub 4.340. And if that's the case, my Lord, is that elite in the speed category. I don't know if we've had anybody that quick, maybe since Hollywood Brown. Throughout high school, though, so far in his senior year, 19 receptions, 440 yards, 6 touchdowns. So he's had some great production. And this is a guy that, like I said, he's going to gain a lot of attention on the recruiting trail as more schools need to pivot, find new wide receivers. You've started to see Kansas State get in there. You saw North Carolina. Indiana's already offered him before. He only took the one official visit that I can see to Penn State on May 30th. Before he committed. But if you're an Oklahoma fan, like this is 100% at any quarterback, like this is a massive weapon for them. Just a downfield threat. You think of like Tyreek Hill with the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy with the Chiefs right now. Like that's what I'm thinking of when I see this kid, what he could be with Oklahoma. So we'll have to see. Can Ben Arbuckle, Emmett Jones go out there and close the deal? I would imagine he's going to be on campus here pretty soon. The next game is Ole Miss before you go on the road for 2 straight games. Technically, you're not going to have an ability to really have anybody on for a home game until 3 weeks after Ole Miss because you got a bye week in there. So definitely, I would imagine, like if there's any opportunity to get him on there, probably Ole Miss, but wouldn't rule out Missouri or LSU. But, the earlier that you can get him on campus, the better and try to close this thing out. But the question is, who else is Oklahoma looking at? And off Penn State's recruiting class, I mean, it could really be anybody. There's so many dudes that I think are currently committed in their class that Oklahoma could want to go out there and take. Like Matt Sieg is a guy that I've seen thrown around quite a bit as, hey, like we should go out there and try to get that guy. He's a 4-star safety. He's a top 100 player out of McDonald, Pennsylvania. Kevin Brown, a 4-star offensive tackle. He's a top 100 player as well. That would have 100% somebody that I could see them go out there and land. They're out of the state of Pennsylvania. So what are Oklahoma's realistic odds there? I have no idea. But Tavian Branch, that's a guy that Oklahoma, you guys remember, they were in on him early. That's somebody that the staff really wanted. Going to come in and probably play defensive line first. But, there was a projected growth spurt maybe to get him to 6'6", 6'7". So by his doctors. So if that was the case, like this is a guy that maybe could grow into an offensive tackle body for you long term, which would have been really exciting. And I think Penn State really sold him on the idea of playing offense and defense. But additionally, I got a chance to follow up with another prospect off of that recruiting class for Penn State today, and it was Jaziel Hurt. He's a 5'11", 170-pound cornerback that also plays wide receiver. He's got a 7'2" wingspan. I think I saw that right on his Twitter profile. If that's true, absolutely insane and 100% a target that I would imagine the staff would want to go out there and grab because, the staff likes them some people like that. They like them some guys with some big wingspans, but he's a two-way player. He is decommitted from Penn State, so no longer in their class, but a prospect you keep your eyes on. If you're looking at other wide receiver targets, though, from Oklahoma, Jaden Pettit up there at Wisconsin. I think that one's probably one of the more likely flips for Oklahoma, especially with understanding that Luke Fickell might be out of the job at Wisconsin by the end of the year. Oklahoma was doing a really good job in that recruitment before he committed to Wisconsin. It was kind of an odd recruitment because, well, what elite wide receiver goes to Wisconsin when they're primarily a pound and ground type of offense, right? So we'll see. I know Oklahoma's been in contact there. We'll see if they can get him flipped. Like I said, I think that's your best chance. You've also got Davian Gross down there at Florida. Obviously, if Billy Napier gets fired, I think your chances increase a little bit more. But, I would say Billy Napier stays there. All the reasons why Davian Gross committed are still there, especially with the NIL dollars, which are going to be massive for him. So, could the Oklahoma Sooners just go out here and get Jahir and go get a Jaden Pettit? I would say that would be a phenomenal pickup. Mylan Paris, I kind of see that one trending more to the Miami, but, he's going to take a lot of his visits, so we'll kind of see what's going to happen there. But I think Miami's probably going to end up winning that recruitment. But if you're looking at just other potential flip targets for Oklahoma, I look at Florida's roster as somebody that Oklahoma could go out there and raid just because there's quite a few targets that Oklahoma went after that are currently committed there, like Caden Hall, the 4-star safety. With Braden Hall and Brenton Venables, I definitely think probably are still staying in contact there. And I would imagine that if he came back on the open market or Billy Napier got fired, they would probably push really hard for him, especially knowing that you could probably take a safety in this class. Additionally, I look at a guy like Desmond Green, a 4-star inside offensive lineman who Oklahoma was in along with South Carolina and Georgia. We obviously know the struggles that Oklahoma's had this past weekend on offensive line. So getting some guys in there, in the first year or two to be really good depth pieces for you, but ultimately some gun that could probably play for you long term. I think Desmond Green fits that mold a little bit. And so I wouldn't be shocked if Oklahoma tries to go out there and flip him. I know they're in on a couple of other tackle prospects. We'll talk about those here at a later date. But I want to hear from y'all on the latest offer from Oklahoma in the 2026 class because I don't really know if there's too many verbs I can put in there to describe him. Like he is an absolute monster of an athlete and somebody that if Oklahoma got him would be a true threat in the offense probably as early as next year. So jump in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We'll see y'all next time.